Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for staying with us. And we are getting right into our conversations this morning. Our first guest in studio with me this morning is Professor Deveral, Dean and Professor of Law at Leeds Beckett University. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much indeed. It's lovely to be here.
And of course, this university is located in England. And I must ask you, is this the first time you're here on the beautiful island of Tobago?
It is. It's the first time I've been here, but it won't be the last. It's an absolutely beautiful place.
Yes.
I arrived last night, came in when it was dark, and then I woke up this morning and I saw the sea, and my word, it is absolutely beautiful.
Right. Beautiful indeed. And I'm so happy to hear of your intention to visit. I mean, when you touch down on this island, you must return again.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to that already.
So let's get right into it and talk a little bit about you being professor and, of course, dean at the law faculty at the Leeds Beckett University. First, tell us a little about Leeds Beckett University.
So Leeds Beckett University has been in existence really for 200 years. Its founding colleges were first started in 1824, and so it is 200 years since that started. Leeds Law School, which is part of the university, has been going since 1924.
Right.
So this year, 2024, is a double celebration. It's a celebration of 200 years of the university and 100 years of teaching law as well. So it's a really exciting time for us. We're situated in England. We're situated in a place called Yorkshire, which is about 2.5 hours from London, north of London. It's the home of Leeds United Football Club. It's also the home of Yorkshire Cricket as well. And
Right.
Headingley Cricket Ground is in Leeds as well. So it's a really nice place to come to. So if anybody does want a holiday in the UK, Leeds is a good place to come to.
All right. That's a nice promo there. And why are you here in Trinidad and Tobago? I know that the university has a partnership with AJ Academic Agency. Tell us a little about that partnership and how it came about.
So it came about 2 years ago. It was a personal recommendation from one of my ex-students from a few years ago. The academic agency based in Trinidad, it's a specialist agency dealing with mainly legal education, which is why we have that particular relationship. It does other areas of education as well, but I'm here to help support students who would like to be attorneys in Trinidad and Tobago and to help them qualify through something called the legal practice course back in the UK and then qualify as attorneys here in Trinidad and Tobago. So our legal practice course is an online course, which means you can study here in the region without having to come to the United Kingdom.
Right, and you can complete the entire degree program online?
You can indeed. So the whole year, it's a year-long program. It requires individuals to have a law degree before they come onto that program.
Okay.
But it's a 1-year program delivered online, and we will give you everything that you need to pass that qualification.
What challenges do you think, or maybe what you would have seen as professor in terms of your students who are actually in the classroom versus those who are remotely and doing it online?
I suppose one of the main difficulties is that sense of community. It's
Right.
trying to make sure that individuals aren't feeling as though they're studying from their home and they're in their sitting room and they're just in front of a computer. And so that's probably the main challenge. But we've been doing education for a number of years. We learned a huge amount about distance learning education through the pandemic when we had to switch to online delivery back in the UK. And we make sure that individuals are brought together, and also given the number of students who will be studying with us online here in Trinidad and Tobago, we will be sending academics from Leeds to Trinidad to be able to run classes a couple of times a year, just to make sure that everybody can come together and know each other as well. So that's a really important thing, I think.
And have you found that the intake from Trinidad and Tobago in this program, is it a large number? And what about the rest of the Caribbean?
So I've been recruiting students from the Caribbean for probably about 15 years.
Okay.
I have taught students from around the area, the Bahamas, from Jamaica, Grenada, from Trinidad and Tobago. I've taught many students. It was lovely for me to come to this region anyway, because I got to meet one of my former students who is now the Minister of Tourism here at Trinidad and Tobago. So that's really exciting. So a big shout out to you, Randall. Thank you for making me feel so very welcome.
Excellent. Where do we think of law? Just for maybe we may have a viewer, a young viewer who's listening and may not have made it that have not made their mind up or maybe thinking about studying law. What advice can you share and why come to Leeds, Beckett?
So, being a lawyer, it's an important job. It's not just about the money, of course, it's about making sure that you are helping individuals to do the best that they possibly can, and to make sure that you're protecting the interest of justice and fearlessly protecting the individual and the client themselves. It's an important job. It's one that gives a huge amount of self-value, but it's a long road and it's a
Right,
difficult road.
right.
It's not an easy job. They're not easy qualifications to pass, but nothing in this life is easy, and sometimes the hardest battles taste the sweetest once they're done. So it's a really wonderful, rewarding career, and I would recommend law to everybody.
Right. And I just want you to share a little bit about yourself because obviously as dean and professor in the Faculty of Law, you are a lawyer. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe your journey and some of the committees you currently sit on?
So, crikey, well, I've been in education now for something like 30 years. My specialism is really training barristers back in the United Kingdom. And I was working out the other day that I've been training barristers for over half of my life.
Wow.
This tie I'm wearing today, it's a barrister's tie. It shows that I'm a member of one of the four Inns of Court back in the United Kingdom called Inner Temple. I have In those 30 years, I have sat on the steering panel of the Legal Education and Training Review, which is the largest review of legal education ever. And I've also been part of the Future Bar Training Programme to help develop and change the way that barristers are taught back in the UK. So in 2020, I was part of the very small core team that helped to deliver the new curriculum and assessment strategy for everybody who was training to be a barrister in the United Kingdom. So really exciting times. I have had a wonderful time teaching students, and it really does lift my spirits to see them start, to train them, to help them succeed, and then see them graduate at the end. It's a real delight.
Right. And when you use it in barrister versus attorney, is there a difference, or is it just a matter of the name being different because one might be British, one might be American?
Okay, so attorneys are a term that's used here regularly, of course,
Yes.
in Trinidad and used throughout the world as well. In England and Wales, we have a slight difference. So we have solicitors and we have barristers. We also have legal executives as well, but mainly the two main professions are solicitors and barristers, but they do effectively the same role as an attorney. So they're broadly the same, but just a slightly different label.
Right. I want us to go back to the AJ Academic Agency because I know there was an open forum in which you spoke on Wednesday. That was the 19th of June of this week. How do the agency and you work together in terms of recruiting students?
So AJ Academic Agency are our exclusive partners here in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider region as well. Every student who comes to us from the Caribbean, the best advice I can give them is to go via the AJ Academic Agency, which is run by a wonderful person called Vanassi, and she is the individual who will then help guide people with their application, make sure that everything in the application is as accurate and as correct as it can be, to streamline the admissions process, to make sure that when they apply, they get an offer as quickly as they possibly can. So it's a really good relationship that we've got with AJ Academic Agency, and if anybody is interested in studying law in the UK, I would really recommend them to anybody.
Right, so they provide that support that would walk that student right through, because I know it's important to have your application in order if you do want to be accepted.
Absolutely, and they will support individuals who are applying every step of the way.
Yeah. And it can be tedious and, intimidating sometimes when you see the requirements or the documentations you have to get, especially if you are applying as an international student. So it's good to know that there is someone out there who can help walk you through that process. Let's talk about the support system in place for student admission and enrollment. at the university?
So we have a specialist team that deal with admissions, and they will work very closely with AJ Academic Agency. Once those admissions processes are sorted, then the individual will then be moving forward to the enrolment process, which is then handled within the law school. And we have a team of experts who will then make sure that individuals are onboarded onto our programs and enrolled. And then the teaching starts, and then the exams come, and then they pass the exams, and then we get to the wonderful time of graduation when individuals, whether they study here or over in the UK, are able then to come to visit us in Leeds and walk across the stage and collect their scroll, which is a really exciting time.
It is, definitely. Now, of course, there are other universities offering law degrees, law programs. What makes the university Leeds Beckett University stand out? Why should persons considering doing law choose this university?
So I would say there are a large number of institutions in the UK, all of whom will be delighted to have applications from individuals from Trinidad and Tobago. But what makes us stand out, I would say, the quality of the student experience. You are deemed to be individuals and consumers. You are a name, not a number, and I think that's probably a very important thing.
Right.
But if you're looking at the quality of the teaching that you get, that is something where I do feel that we stand out. We have individuals who are trained lawyers. They are also trained teachers, they are also research active, and they are also internationally acclaimed in their field. So most recently, in fact, only yesterday, one of the academics that I work with, who's a law of technology, a law professor of law and technology, she was presenting to the United Nations Security Council yesterday, talking about the dangers of cyber security and what we need to look out. So we're working with top people in their field, and that's really exciting.
And looking at your program, what are some of the areas on your curriculum that the program focuses on?
So the legal practice course, which is the course which is probably the most interest to individuals who want to become attorneys, that focuses on the knowledge and the skills in order to become a lawyer. So we have subjects, for example, like business law and practice. We have subjects like property law and practice, and those are the knowledge-based subjects. But we also have the skills that we train people in how to actually be a lawyer. So, for example, we'll help train individuals to be an advocate, which means they can stand up in court and present arguments to the judge and maybe to the jury as well. We will teach individuals how to have an interview and hold an interview with their clients so they can ask the relevant questions to get the important information to then give the individual the advice that they need. So it's a vocational course which helps train the best lawyers that you can be.
Excellent. And of course, when we talk about the law program, no pun intended, there are a lot of letters. So whether it's LLC, whether it's LLM, GDL, walk us through, some of the meanings of these letters.
Okay, so
and the programs they represent.
Well, I suppose you would start with the undergraduate courses. So you have an LLB, which is a Bachelor of Laws. You can then have a Master of Laws, which is an LLM.
Right.
That particular course is quite a wide course, but it tends to show that there's some area of specialism. And our LPC course, our legal practice course, is available as an LLM or also as what's called a postgraduate diploma. But then, of course, broader than that, and Leeds Beckett also offer Masters of Philosophy, Doctor of Philosophy, which is a PhD, and various other programs as well. So we are a broad, full-service law school. We offer a full range of undergraduate, postgraduate, and professional courses. But the key ones really for Trinidad are LLB, which is Bachelor of Laws, and then we have LLM, which is Master of Laws as well. But those particular courses are the key ones, and they're the ones that I feel that most individuals here should really be targeting their energies towards.
Right, and you mentioned one of the programs for 1 year. Which one is that you were referring to?
So the 1 year program that we have, the main one which I've come over to support Trinidad students with, is the legal practice course, and that is the course that will then train individuals to become a lawyer in the UK, and also it will allow them entry to becoming an attorney here in Trinidad and Tobago as well.
Okay.
So it's those particular, that's the course that I'm really here, that's the course that I'm promoting. But we are, as I say, a big university. We have
Yes.
22,000 students, and so we have a broad range of courses that are available to people.
Right. And of course, to our viewers who are listening, although we are talking about law with the professor this morning, there are various schools at the university. So maybe your interest might be tourism, education. It's a full-fledged university. They know what they're about. And you can, of course, do your exploring. But this morning, we are talking about the law department and the partnership that exists between Leeds Beckett University and the AJ Academy Agency. Let's go back to the LPC as you are here in particular because of that program. What qualifications does one need to do that program and what cost are we looking at?
So in order to get onto our legal practice course, you would need to have what's called a Bachelor of Laws, or the LLB. That would be a course that is offered and called what's known as a qualifying law degree. So it has to have a particular set of requirements and regulations. But most, if not all, of the courses that are offered by UK institutions would then be deemed to be what's called this qualifying law degree. So you need a QLD, qualifying law degree, to then come on to our legal practice course. But AJ Academic Agency will be able to ensure that the individuals who apply do have those particular qualities that are needed to gain access to the legal practice course.
Right. And in terms of the cost?
The cost itself, so we have spoken to AJ Academic Agency and looked at the needs and the importance of how education works within Trinidad and Tobago, and so we are pricing our LPC at £11,000. So that works out to be something like 94,000 TT dollars, which is cheaper than we would normally offer that to individuals in the UK, but there is a limited amount of time for individuals to be able to access the legal practice course, and so it's an opportunity really for individuals then to seize that price point and join us.
Right, so for those of you who are listening, now is the time. You have to get on to AJ Academy Agency because this costing is offered through the agency. So if you may be on your own, don't expect to get that quoted to you. Let's talk a little bit about the future of this program, this university, and how does your institution plan to stay ahead of legal education? As you mentioned, we are consumers. There are always going to be choices available. So again, what plans are in place to ensure that Leeds Beckett University, in particular, the law program, remains on top?
So we've been teaching law for 100 years. I've been in education for 30 years, as I've already said. And one of the important aspects of legal education that I think is really trying to make sure that we are nimble and we are agile and we change with the times. And so I've had conversations already with the registrar at the court in Trinidad to talk about the possibility of offering bespoke courses to lawyers in the region. But we make sure that the courses that we offer are going to be valid and valuable and also contemporary for where we are. So again, to go back to the individual, to the professor who was speaking at the United Nations Security Council yesterday, she's a leader in cybersecurity and also artificial intelligence, and so it's really making sure that our programs then deliver that information to our students to make sure that they have the most up-to-date knowledge to be able to then put that into practice when they go on and practice as a lawyer.
Right, and I know the reason you are here in Trinidad and Tobago, of course, was that for that open day. Now you are in Tobago. Is there any open day planned for Tobago just yet, or what does your itinerary look like today?
So I'm meeting a number of different students today and tomorrow. If anybody does want to meet me, I am staying at the Cocoa Reef Hotel in Tobago. If they would like to get in contact with me there, they're more than welcome to do so, or better still, go through AJ Academic Agency and they'll set up a meeting. I leave Tobago tomorrow evening and head back to Trinidad and then fly back to the UK on Sunday. But if there are reasons why individuals can't meet me today or tomorrow, then of course the wonders of Zoom mean that we can have a conversation. But again, it's much nicer to meet in person. I have a large selection of lovely Leeds Beckett pens, which I'm happy to give out, and I'm happy to buy anybody a cup of coffee as well. So I'm looking forward to meeting anybody who would like to come and find me. Just even to talk about education in the UK. It doesn't have to be about law. That's my particular specialism. But again, I'm happy to advise anybody about studying in the UK anyway.
All right, thank you so much for your time. And again, I must welcome you to Tobago. Enjoy what you can today and tomorrow. And I know when you return, although you are going home, you will miss Tobago for sure.
I will. Natalie, thank you very much indeed for having me on. And folks, lovely to meet you all.
All right, viewers, thank you so much for listening to what we spoke about. And we are going for a short break. And when we return, we continue another interesting conversation. The energy filled the sky.